I've negotiated in quite a few markets over the years, but negotiating in the Netherlands is a distinctive experience. On the surface, as a Brit, you might assume it's straightforward, and in many ways it is, but only if you understand how the Dutch actually approach the process. But first of all, the Dutch are firmly low-context communicators. They say what they mean. There's very little reading between the lines. As a British negotiator, that took some adjustment. We tend to soften disagreement with something like, that might be slightly challenging, which could mean absolutely not. But the Dutch, on the other hand, will simply say, no, that won't work, but it's not rudeness, it's efficiency. They are also strongly monochronic in their working style. Meetings start on time, agendas are followed, and preparation is expected. Basically, if you arrive with vague figures or an exploratory mindset, you'll quickly lose credibility. They expect data, structure, and clarity about your mandate. One thing I've found particularly interesting is their approach to hierarchy. Dutch organizations often appear flat, but consensus plays a major role. The person in front of you may not be the sole decision maker. Decisions are frequently discussed internally before final approval. So, while discussions are open and transparent, you must ensure you understand who ultimately signs off. In terms of bargaining behavior, there's typically very little gamesmanship. Extreme anchoring or artificial deadlines don't tend to land well. The Dutch prefer rational argument over theatrics. They focus heavily on defining the ZOPA, that's the zone of possible agreement, early in the conversation. Basically, if there's no overlap, they'll say so directly, rather than prolonging the process. Another important point to mention is that contracts matter enormously. Once terms are agreed, they expect precision and adherence. Renegotiating settled points without justification can damage trust quickly, and at the same time, they appreciate clarity over ambiguity. Detailed documentation is seen as professional, not distrustful. So what I've learned is this: with Dutch counterparts, transparency wins. Be direct, be well prepared, understand your numbers, and respect the collective decision-making culture. If you do that, negotiations tend to be efficient, pragmatic, and refreshingly free of unnecessary drama. And frankly, as a Brit, that can be rather liberating.